Yo, what's up, team? Welcome. I am back. Good to be back. Hope you guys are happy I'm back. Anyway, guys, just about time to get this show on the road. So, without further ado, as always, guys, very good morning, very good afternoon, and a very good evening, no matter. Almost got the 2 thumbs up where you are around the world. Hope you guys are doing well. Welcome to another London session here today, and we do have a big day ahead. There's a massive day ahead news-wise. I think you just noticed this. We've got GDP for the pound to come shortly, so don't have to wait to see what comes out of that. The forecast is for it to be as per predicted, so it could be a bit of a nothing burger, but anyway, we'll have to wait to see, because obviously it may come out a different figure and that could shake things up a fair bit. Moving forward into proceedings for the rest of the day, we do have high impact USD news. Let me just kill that music for you guys on YouTube as well before I forget. There we go, so should be able to hear me properly. Alright, so obviously moving into NY, 30 minutes into the session open, we've got core PPI and PPI unemployment claims as well. So PPI, obviously the leading indicator to inflation for the Fed. It's what they look to with the most importance, and the forecast is for it to be actually greater than the previous. So therefore, based off that, what that would suggest to me is probably less likely that they're going to be cutting rates anytime soon. So that would likely be good for the US dollar. And perhaps gold's kind of its own beast at the moment though, so it may drop a little bit, but I wouldn't really make much of it, to be honest, as far as gold. But all the majors against the US dollar could be a bit of a different story, so need to be wary of that, guys. Keep an eye on that. That is 30 minutes into MI session. And guys, let's do what we do best. Let's do the analysis moving forward on gold and GJ. YouTube, if you guys hit the like button. TikTok, appreciate you guys as well. Make sure to smash that screen for us. And let's get underway with having a look at gold. And starting at the weekly time frame, what we can see is we're once again into uncharted territories at an all-time high just here. We've got high, low, high, high. We are forming a very strong bullish candle as well, so likely only interested in looking for buys moving forward on gold, to be honest, unless there's a catalyst maybe on a 30-minute, but I don't quite see it, to be honest. I'd rather play in line with the overall strength and the direction, which is obviously screaming to the upside. There is still absolutely nothing yet to suggest to me that we may make a deeper pullback. So that being said, my focus is likely going to be on looking for buy options on gold today. And let's take a look at it now on the daily time frame. And what we can see is we are also very bullish structurally. Not only that, we've also got counter probabilities to the upside. Look at that previous candle as well, guys. The way it closed with a long wick to the downside, retesting this previous resistance. Now, if you guys pay attention, you'd know that that is technically no matter what the time frame it is, but that is one of my entries, a limit order. Didn't take it, and it's not something I've taken on the daily time frame, but look what's happened is tapped into it a little bit below it, and it's since reversed. Grabbed liquidity from that point. That is a little bit of a pause within the overall uptrend, and its price is obviously, you know, the previous daily candle left that long wick to suggest a grab liquidity. Current candle, it's done what would normally follow, not always, but there's a high probability that this sort of candle would follow, where you got a bit of a lower wick, you're gonna break the high of the previous candle. And I feel there's a good chance that we could, but again, news will impact it. But there's a good chance that eventually we could come up to retest the high, even if it's not necessarily today. On to the 4-hour time frame, and once again, that is still definitely bullish, but what we are doing is tapping into some resistance here to the left. So may not quite be the easiest level to be buying from, but we'll see more once we go down to the 30 and the M15. As far as the most recent support and resistance, they're the levels I'm going to mark in. We'll be adjusting those shortly on the 30-minute and the 15-minute time frames. So now onto the 30. Do we have any catalyst? Is it bearish? So let's take a look at this. That was the highest point the market got to. It's the all-time high. There's the 2 or more consecutive candle pullback in the opposite direction. Obviously flip the structure at this point here, or a lower low here, and we've obviously closed above this swing point. So therefore we are bullish and will remain bullish at this stage on the M30 until we start to close below this particular point here around that 2900 flat sort of region. So based off that, again, I'm more likely to be looking for the buy options, whether it be upon the pullback or upon continuation. Now, as I mentioned, we are at a resistance on the 4 hour. Just needing this zone up on the 30. 30, we still don't have any margin, but let's just see what we've got in a 15-minute time frame. And if we can justify any entries above the current daily counts high, and we kind of can. But just adjust that to that point there. I'm going to keep the highest point in, seeing it is a 30-minute bearish candle. And what we can see is above the current daily candle high. I'll zoom in on it. We've got a bit of margin to retest the actual resistance on the M15. It's quite clean traffic to the left. There is some, this is marketing, 35 pips. And knowing that we've got the structure on our side, knowing that the weekly is forming a very strong bullish candle, potentially we're just pulling back yet again to grab a little bit more liquidity. And if we were to create that high, retest the current daily counts high, feels at that point there, there's a high probability that we would continue to the upside. So that being said, I'd be looking for potential options on the buy above the current daily counts high. Preference is always for a closure above, a retest, and continuation. But just we'll wait and see how price, if and when time comes, if we do reach that level, how price action could potentially dictate an entry. Now, further options. So obviously pullbacks. Got level here at 29,025. Now, it doesn't necessarily need to pull back all the way down to that point there. What we've got in between is we've got some previous resistance where it could pull back to inform support. So basically, what I'd be doing is looking for price to form a support, create that high low. Or it'd be around this point here or lower down around that 2900 flat to look for my further buy options. Let's go back to the 30-minute time frame. All right. If this candle was to close bullish engulfing on the M15, that will close the 30-minute bullish. That will leave a long wick to the downside, suggesting we've grabbed some liquidity. Hopping back above this resistance here to the left, that would be enough for me to look for a first early option to take a buy on gold. But the rule that I would need to tick off is the engulfing bullish candle on the 15, because then we'll, and only then, we will flip the 30 minutes close back bullish, confirming that 30-minute support above some previous resistance over here to the left. So that is the rule I'm about to set. Well, that is the rule I've just set. If I'm to look for any early entry, I want to see this 30-minute candle or this 15-minute candle, both of them obviously close at the same time. I want to see it close above the high of that bearish candle. And if I have that, then that confirmation, then I would be looking to take an early option on gold. So I'm just keeping an eye on that, guys. Hope you guys are following along. If it did make sense, make sure to hit that like button. But also let me know what you think of it. And if you think my analysis is trash, that's fair enough. All good. You're still welcome to be here. So guys, smash the screen. TikTok, there's 59 of you on stream at the moment. Make sure to follow if you've not done so. Almost at that 2,000 follow goal. Matt, yep, you're on that. Nice one. Alex, buy? Yeah, I'm preferring the buys for sure. YouTube, Jay, morning to you. Beats, good morning, brother. Carl, finally back. Enjoyed a few days off, mate. It's a bit of R&R. So, in what was actually a lot more beautiful of a city than what I thought we had here in Melbourne. Quite impressive. James, morning to you, mate. Tony Gold, morning to you. Sean, all good, mate. Off a song? Oh, nice one. Sounds good. Yeah. Hope it's going well for you. Steve, morning to you, brother. And Tommy, good morning, bro. All right, guys. So I'll answer further questions shortly. I'm just keeping an eye on gold. So what I would suggest is stop loss will be either at 15. I'm going to have a 30-minute low. This must close where I want it to close, and it's just me following some very, very simple rules and not giving into FOMO. That's the rule I've created. That's the rule I'm going to stick to. If it does not close above it and it still makes the move, it's just not my move because it's not what I wanted to see. So I just need to accept that to be quick. What I want to see though is a lower wick forming on the new candle. So my broker, if this closes bullish, then I have a valid entry. And it is closing bullish on a 30. I actually have a bullish closure on my broker, guys. On IC markets. I'm going to look to buy it if it breaks its own high. So it's created a bit of an upper wick. I want it to pull back and create a lower wick though. So I want it to pull back to create a lower wick. And if it creates a bit of a lower wick, what I'm going to do is set a buy stop back above this candle's high. So whatever that is in your broker, if it's something you agree with, I would look to enter probably about 2 pips above. So nice in markets, you're looking at about 29.1676. All right, so yeah, so 2 pips above the current candle's high. What I like is that we've popped up and now we're popping back down to create the low wick. So if we were to begin to flip and break our own high, again, this is in my opinion a high probability entry. If we pull back quite a distance into this wick, then I'm going to remove the order because I don't feel we necessarily needed to do so based off that previous candle. That to me suggests we've grabbed that liquidity from the downside, and on most occasions what is to follow is price will pop straight up. Sometimes we'll pull back to give you a lower wick and give you the opportunity to get in on as it breaks its own high again. In this case it's pulling back quite strong. I want it to begin to flip very quickly, otherwise I'm just going to remove the order and wait. Maybe wait for a bit of a pause on the 15-minute time frame and then look for my options. We're also currently rejecting some previous support on the 15, but I'm still confident that if we begin to break our own candles high at the moment, that it could be options. So I'm keeping it in for now, and I'll let you guys know if I'm going to remove the order. So not in yet. Oh, there's the gold. I was wondering what that noise was. Cheers, guys. TikTok. That's 2,000 follower goal mark. Appreciate it. Gold only? No, I do look at GJ. I will look at it shortly. But seeing I've got a pending order on gold, I'm just going to focus on that for the time being. And we've also got the high impact news just being released. So I'll have a look at GJ in a minute. But guys, feel free to ask me to analyze pair. Just focus on gold for the time being. All right, so the news for the pound must have come out as a positive. Yeah, very positive. Wow. All right, so the pound, I mean, GJ is pumping at the moment. No lower wick. GU the same. Yeah, just gonna need to wait instead of let the news settle. Now, if this draws out close to the 15-minute closure, then I just wait. Remove the order and wait for the 15 minutes to close and then reassess. Quick shorts. GU 1 hour for sell. Yeah, not for me personally. I mean, you're at a bit of a resistance. I'd need to wait for some sort of catalyst before I try to sell at the moment personally. Now, the good thing is, seeing we've created a decent lower wick now, as soon as it does get triggered in, what you could do is start to adjust your stop loss to just below the entry candle's low, just to mitigate some risk. Lion, can we buy now? I mean, if it's within your plan, you can more than welcome to. For me, I've got the order set, so I'm not in just yet. Yeah, Carl, I think it's a good thing to do. Just wait and let the news settle for the time being on the pound. So once again, those who are using IC markets, you would have recognized that there was a bullish engulfing closure, which is what I wanted to see. It's not on this broker, but every broker is slightly different. I have the right confirmation in my broker, and that's the one I do follow. So it is a valid entry, but again, if this begins to break its own low again, then I may consider removing it. Wait for the 15 closure. I'll just wait and see. Extra, can we buy now? Again, if you've got the right confirmation, do so. Bobby effects, yes, I am currently looking at gold. I will analyze GJ shortly and any other pairs as per request, but at the moment, looking at potential gold buys. Thank you for all the new followers. And YouTube guys, make sure to hit that like button. Let's get it out there to the masses that I am back. The best stream for free education out there without doubt. Okay, whilst I've got the pending order, I'm not gonna put an alarm on and then look at GJ, I suppose. It's not an alarm, it's not an alert, and we'll move on to GJ, guys. Swayze is pulling back. I could shortly be removing the order. Yeah, so we'll move on. Still got the order in. We'll get the alert if it does begin to flip again. Aremus in from 29.12.20, any problem? Nice one. Temis, no, 29.10. Some previous resistance here, yeah. Alright, yeah, so need to wait for news to filter through a little bit on the pound pairs at the moment, but either way, let's have a look at GJ for the time being. And what we can see is the current weekly is forming a very strong bullish candle. So based off that, I would be more likely to favor the buys, but we'll see what we've got on the other time frames to perhaps suggest otherwise. Onto the daily. Structurally, it's bearish and at resistance, so perhaps that could be the first catalyst to suggest that maybe it's best to sell. I don't usually mark in resistance on the daily. I wait for the buyer. Just gonna mark that in either way. So we're bearish at the last significant lower high on the daily time frame. 4 hour, we can just adjust this. Now 4 hour time frame is bullish. Yeah, it is bullish. Most recent support this level here. So we're just going to focus on most recent, guys. If we begin to pop above or below, that's when we will add some levels. What we can do is though mark in some levels which could. Obviously we've got to the left just above the resistance. We've got another level, so probably needs to just really adjust that to that point. It's much cleaner above it. So no, we're bullish in a 4 hour, bullish in a weekly, bearish in a daily. Counter probabilities are bullish on the daily, so that's something which lines up with the actual other two time frames. 30-minute is also bullish, and at this rate where it will flip back bearish is below this point here, which is as point in price, you know, on the chart where we have some clean traffic. So for me, very simple analysis on GJ. Would prefer the buys, and I would prefer to either look to buy it on the pullback retest support confirmation back around that 192.10, so 20. For the first potential option of buy it, buys above. Now, as mentioned, we're running into some significant resistance. Oh, gold. Back to gold, guys. Back to gold. Basically, there is no immediate looking entry on GJ either way, so we'll get back to it. Just watch gold because we could get triggered in shortly. Hopefully that made sense for the brief part I've gone over. Go on, with me all good, nice one. Oh, almost in. All right, I'm in. Let's see. Now, some of you might have been slipped. I got slipped a point. So my entry price is 7.5. Now, what I'm going to do just to mitigate some risk, I'm going to start to adjust my stop loss to a little bit below the current candle's low. If it begins to flip, I don't want to be involved in the trade anymore. It's just me taking some risk off the table, so minimizes the loss. After all, we are risk managers. As soon as you enter a trade, in my opinion, you need to start to think about when your idea may become invalid, and it's best to cut some losses or cut the loss. Never want to take a full loss. So let's see. Got about 5 pips on the table. There we go. 7 pips. Now, this point is where I usually get to break even. But I kind of want to let it do its thing a little bit. Got 7.5 pips. All right, guys, I'm getting to break even. And now it's a risk-free trade. Just follow my rules again. Takes me out, takes me out. There's not much you can do about it. Oh, risk-free, nice one. All right, get to about 10. It might take half. Gets there. Looks like it could pop down. Scalp trading? Yes, I am. All right, I'm out. All right. I think a pretty good trade, pretty good entry. Happy with the way it went. Almost got there. If you guys are happy to keep it open, that's fine. I'm out at break even, just following my plan. Almost there. I had 8.5 pips on the table. Yeah, it's what it's just following my rules, and it ends up being just a nothing trade, but all good. Tabiso is gold buying. I personally in favor of the buys. So trade 1, break even. So close to TP1. 15, see now the 15's closed. It's got no upper wick, so that's a good thing if you are stuck or staying in the trade. The issue is you're likely going to go into a bit of drawdown. It's going to create a low wick, so right now you'd be stuck in about 7-8 pip drawdown. So I think it was pretty well managed, to be honest. Geo, what pair is that? It's gold. Gold, my friend. All right, so let's get back to GJ. Let's get back to it. Didn't even get a chance to finish my analysis. So what I was saying on GJ is above the current daily counts high. As much as it might make sense to look for the option for continuation buy, you've got all this to the left, all this really solid resistance on the 4-hour time frame. So it's going to be very difficult to buy it based on that. However, seeing it is a daily and a 4-hour level, I may look for a counter trend trade. It is within my rules, believe it or not, on a Tuesday to Thursday. I'm willing to take the counter trend option based on just particular levels, and in this particular case, GJ is approaching resistance. So what I need to see is price pop up to it, look for rejection of that 4-hour / daily resistance, and wait for some sort of price action catalyst. Look for my option to sell it from the resistance. So that's pretty much what I'll be doing on GJ. So sells below. Now, again, let's just look at this. Have we actually tapped into, well, you could argue tapped into that 4-hour level. Have we actually tapped into daily? Yes, we have. So what I'm seeing is within the current daily candle, obviously create support around the Asian session, create a high or low. If we were to continue bullish just now, there is not much of a need for us to pop down and begin to pop below this support. Below it, what we can see here is we got some clean traffic to the left below support here around at 192.40. So if price was to come back down to that point and start to pop below it, look for a closure, retest, continuation, I would entertain a counter trend trade based off the level we're currently at on the high time frame. Picture we're at a very strong resistance, and now having said that, if we were to pop back down to that point only to respect it, even if we were to break below and only to close back above it, that could also give me my option to look for a buy from above that 192.40. So not looking at any continuation buys on GJ based on the level we're at. We're at a very significant daily / 4-hour resistance, so I'm not going to look to buy it into that. I'd rather see how price reacts to it. Otherwise, see how price forms at that 192.40 sort of region. Hopefully that makes sense. Sharif, point to you, mate. Tommy, yeah, some may have collected some pips. It was very, very close. I think it was a good option. Yeah, so feel free to ask me, guys, interested in me having a look at another pair for you. I'm more than happy to do so. And TikTok, I've got to keep the streams a little bit shorter out of risk of losing my profile, but I'm sure you guys are smart enough to figure it out. So streaming on YouTube as well at the moment. February's been fantastic. Been a really, really good month. January ended well. Started really bad, but I came back bloody strong in the last 2 weeks. That first week back was a tough one. It was a really tough one. After the 7th, I usually don't trade until midway into January. It was a lesson learned. To be honest, I was trying to satisfy the viewers by trading a week earlier this year, and it didn't work. You know, I know exactly why I never used to trade that time of year. But since that point in time, since mid-January, it has been phenomenal. The trading has been absolutely spot on. I think I've taken like 1 loss and about 10 to 12 wins, something like that. Not 1 or 2 more, and a couple break evens in between. There you go, gold pulling back again. So again, just me following the plan, following my rules, not reacting to FOMO or emotions, thinking nah, I can't lose, so I just got to hold it, accepting that not every trade's going to return a profit. And I got out of that with, again, nothing. So nothing lost, nothing gained. I actually covered my spread, and that was it. Josh, too smooth. I had the same thought, but I'm seeing rejection to the upside. You're answering someone else's opinion. Yeah, fair enough. Again, I can understand why people might be trying to sell it, but for me, it's just in too strong of an uptrend at the moment to trade against the trend. The 30-minute was bearish. I would definitely consider it, but it's not, so I don't have any reason at the moment to sell it. But my opinion might not be, you know, it doesn't mean my opinion is more right than someone else's, so just me doing me, that's all. Where I could see potential sells, but I'm not interested in taking it because I'm not interested in selling gold, is if price starts to close below support at 29.14 on the 15-minute. Josh, I believe gold might be higher because it's retracement on a 4-hour time frame. Yeah, I personally think gold is a good chance to go higher, but again, we've got news to come later, so that will likely impact it. I think it'll be more short term. I'm pretty sure it'll just jolt gold a little bit, maybe to the downside if it comes out as predicted. They'll end up closing pretty much at its open for that same candle. That's, if you know, that's what I reckon could happen. But again, just because I think that could happen doesn't mean I take a trade based on that. Sergio, can you explain order blocks? So order blocks are just levels in price action where liquidity is being built into the market. So I call it a support and resistance. Others call it supply and demand. Generally, it's areas of consolidation where price may have reversed, or for instance, just here where it's found some support. That's generally where you'll have a lot of build up in orders, which is why price will push back up from that point. There's also a lot of build up in orders potentially to the downside. So for instance, my signal would be wait for it to close below, confirm a structure flip, retest, and begin to pull away, knowing that you might have the volume, the liquidity at that level for it to make the move down to the next level. Oh, gold, look at it now. So it's beginning to flip. All right. Good news for anyone who is still in it. But again, for me, I don't have a catalyst at the moment to jump back in. And that looks an absolute mess on the 5-minute. So I'm just going to sit this out. I'm going to sit this out and let's see what happens moving forward. Now, to validate an entry moving forward, what I probably, in my preference right now, is to wait to look for a bit of resistance form and price pop above the resistance and then begin to pull away. Members, apologies, I totally forgot to send you guys an invitation to join the call. Here it is. So for me to trust the trade again, that's what I want to see. Why, you might ask, why do I want to see some resistance? Because if resistance is created, and let's just use this as the example, and if price was to continue bearish, then there is not much need for it to pop above the resistance. If it did pop above it, and in my opinion close above it, retest it, there's a high probability at that point there that's going to begin to pull away from that resistance and fill up to the next clean area traffic, next level, which is around that daily high 29, 22, 23, 23 region. So that is the next signal that will validate an entry for me. If I don't get that, that's it. Just me following my rules. It's very simple. There's no FOMO. There's no, I'm not sure, should I enter now or should I might miss the move? There is a good chance I'll miss it. But there's also times when if I'd taken it based on my emotions, I get absolutely wrecked and I feel crap after it. So you don't want to trade on emotions. You want to trade based on just, you want to be robotic, basically. Follow your rules, follow your plan. Very simple process. Josh, just a warning, mate. Don't go promoting someone else on the stream. You may not have done it intentionally. I'll give you the benefit of doubt for the time being, but yeah, just not on this stream. Sergio, there's order blocks. To me, they're just support and resistance. So again, I've mentioned nearly every stream these days, I could trade based on that without any zones, nothing. And I've done it at times when I'm trading on my own. Literally just trade off that. Knowing where we are roughly, knowing the higher time frame picture, knowing what I want to see. It just makes it a little bit easier to follow if you're using your zones, drawing them in. And there's different ways to draw in zones. Some don't even draw in zones, they'll just use that, for instance, just a horizontal. And that's fine, that's what works for them. All good, Josh, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. So, potentially, we may have ticked off the first requirement of the signal, of my next signal. Potentially. We've still got a minute and 35 seconds remaining on the current candle. If this close weak bearish, then I've got resistance. Got that resistance on the 15-minute time frame. Also got a bit of a doji candle on the 30. Now, the higher probability option in this particular case, definitely the higher probability option, is to simply wait for a 15 minutes close, somewhat like so, and with enough margin to the upside on the potential entry. That is by far the best option, because it's just mucking about at the moment, to be honest. It's not really giving me a clear enough indication that we're ready to make the move from the current level. So I'd rather be more cautious with it and wait for what I determine to be the clearer cut signal. TikTok, appreciate all the new followers. Cheers, guys, appreciate it. All right. Looks like we've got the first tick. Perfect. Now I'm going to wait 15 minutes and see if we've got the second tick. And then there could be another, what I determined to be a high probability entry. Quality entry. Josh, funny how gold was falling like 2 months ago. Nice bullish trend. Yeah, for me, it was always very bullish. As you probably know, as you know, pretty much every trader will know, everything, well, things can't just continue to go up or down, you know, for that matter, without pullbacks. So it's just the way the markets move. They need to grab some more liquidity, so they can't just trend forever. But for the most part, gold's been a massive uptrend. I think it went, was it 26% increase or something last year? It's a big move for gold. People say it doesn't move. Since I started trading, I remember when gold was like a grand or under a grand. Yeah, I remember when it was under a grand. Now look at it. It's tripled since I've started trading. Mohammed, no, I'm not selling gold. No way am I selling gold. Yep, under a grand. Look at that pop. Wow. Wow. So even if I chose to take the more impulsive entry, it still would not have been valid because I require a lower wick prior to it, which I didn't have here. So this is in my list of entries, but one little simple detail was not present. That's a requirement for this to have that on it prior to it, because there is every chance, there's a really high probability that it would have pulled back to create that, could have tagged you in first, like so. You're in, feeling good about it, and then it plummets. Rates that low wick, you're feeling bad about it, you're getting emotional, you chose to cut it, and then it flies again, and you just end up being a wreck. So that's why I have some rules, and they're very simple rules to follow. It's just black or white, and that is one of the ones that I need to present prior to an entry. A wick in the opposite direction. And there is no FOMO. Happy to see this move play out in the moment. Again, it's in line with my plan. My analysis is correct, but it doesn't always mean you get the opportunity. Arums, I hope I'm pronouncing right. Well done, man. Good work. Nice one, brother. Well done. Secure some profits. YouTube, what's going on, guys? Anyone currently running any trades? Let's suss out GJ. All right. I was going to say, if this 15-minute closed weak bullish, but then I realized it's not going to be the closure of the 30, and we had the 30-minute closing bearish, that could also almost validate an entry for a potential sell. But we've got to wait. That's way off for the time being. Sean, nothing at the moment. Having a look around, but not really seeing much yet. All good, mate. There's no rush, as you know. I think you've learned a fair bit about that and become a much better trader, all for it, for learning that there is no rush in trading. And then back down she goes, just like that. Gold. It's not for the faint of heart. For anyone who's new to trading, it's not what I'd recommend. I would not recommend trading gold. I personally love it because I like the volume, the way it moves. It moves very quickly. Usually I'm in and out of positions very quickly. Not always, but usually. Monday, my last stream on Monday, I think we hit GP in about a minute or something. And it went on to hit final TP not all that long later. Sean, so chill when you trade now, that's it. Exactly how you want to be. Kofi, gotta be very careful what I say because I'll get banned, but just stick around. You learn a lot from these streams. You'll be able to find it. I don't know more. Josh, did we honestly think? Yeah, I think there's enough time still prior to the news. I don't trade news as well, so I would not even look at gold probably after about pre-NY the hour leading into pre-NY. So from that hour on, I think it's the closure of the 4 hour, I would not entertain any entries on gold, because it does begin to become a little bit volatile, and sometimes the news is pre-priced into markets, but sometimes that's just to grab some liquidity for it to go the opposite direction. So yeah, it could be difficult, but I feel there is enough time to consider trading it just now. And the fact of the matter is, there's high impact news on the US dollar more often than not, so you kind of got to find a time if you want to trade it, if you know what I mean. And for me, it's still plenty of time to get involved without worrying so much about the news to come. So now look what it's done, guys. It's, again, can't make this shit up. It's pulled back to create that lower wick. There you go. Could have got TP1 for sure. Could have got secured some pips. But what did I say before? If you were to look back through all these candles, I'd hazard to guess 90 to 95% of them would have wicks in either direction. So off the back of that, it's a simple rule I've added to my plan. I cannot take the entry without that ticked off. So the last thing I'm gonna do is tagged in, pulls back down, get stuck in drawdown, not feeling good about it. You know, panic, maybe manage to trade too soon, and just exactly why we have some very simple rules to follow. DJ popping up, all good. How about GU? So how about we analyze GU, guys? Seeing there's been some high pack news. Let's take a brief look at GU, and at the moment, weekly is forming a very strong bullish candle. It's hard pressed low against some resistance, which lines up with support. So it's at a key level, and 125 flat. That is a very key level. It's a psychological number, up just above it, but it is a number that price is likely to react to, and it has previously over here to the left, to the upside and to the downside. So based off that, we are strong bullish. However, on the current weekly candle, daily, again, very similar to GJ, it is at some significant resistance right now. So it's going to be difficult buying it into it, but there may be some clean levels on the minor time frames which could suggest otherwise. But at the moment, difficult for me based on the high time frames to buy it. What I would be doing is marking the current daily candles low, seeing we have that high low, higher high to that previous daily candle, and seeing we are at a potential point of rejection. If we were to begin to break the low of the current daily candle, there's a good chance that we again confirm some rejection off the same level of resistance and could come back down to support. Structurally, it's bearish as well, so you got that on your side if you are to look for some sells from the resistance. The 4 hour, let's suss this out properly. 4 hour is, oh, just depends. Have we closed below this wick? Oh, barely, but technically yes. So therefore I would consider the 4 hour to be bullish, but again at resistance. Start to mark in some levels. Not going to worry it to the left, I'm just focused on the most recent for the time being. Support, mark that level in. Now let's go down to the 30, which could make or break the option to buy it upon continuation, and it's broken it. So wouldn't be adjusting this zone because it's just you got wick after wick after wick until the high. But what I like about GU is, so the 30 is bullish, so you got bias is technically bullish, but as I mentioned before on GJ, that being said, it is a Thursday. It's within my rules to counter trend trade on a Thursday based on just pure levels and price action. What we're at is a higher time frame resistance, so below it will form some minor support. If we were to continue bullish, there is not much of a need for us to pop back down and break below, close below this support. If we did, retested and begun to pull away from it, now I feel it's a high probability that price could come back down towards the daily low, the Asian session support around that 124.40, and that could provide a potential catalyst to look for a sell option on GU. Now, still technically going to be bullish if it does pull back down to that support, so I'd be definitely looking for options to buy it from around that support upon the right confirmation. And otherwise, if this pulled up a little bit further, now I've got a very impulsive entry my guys know about, and those of you who watch me on a regular will know about it. So based on 4-hour levels, taps into the 50%, could look for a limit order sell based on that, stop loss back above. But anyway, what I'd also be looking for is nice clean move up, bit of support to form, price begins to create that lower low, it breaks below the support, that could be a potential sell option. I have no idea what that request was to join. I don't know how TikTok works, and I've got to be careful, so not going to let people join, to be honest. I don't want to get banned again. Designer Salah, welcome. Yeah, so GU, I'll be looking for sales from higher up as well. Gold rejecting, so not looking bad for sales, to be honest, right now, but it's not just not what I'm after. I'm after buys. It's just being patient about it and waiting for an opportunity if it presents again. But the way that rejected, that would suggest there's a high probability now that we could continue down. If this closed below the support, the issue is stop loss, and it's a massive one. For me, it's just not worth it at the moment. I trade fixed lots, and even if you trade percent per trade, it's just not really worth it, in my opinion. You're gonna have at this stage a 75 plus pip stop loss, so it's going to mean your lot size is significantly reduced, which in my opinion will mean you need to hold it a bit longer to get any sort of decent return. So it's not for me. Abdul, yes, this is Gold. One chill guy, which type? Not sure what that's in reference to be honest. Thank you for sharing the live, by the way. Sure, appreciate it. Now the impulse sell limit entry, guys, this is for my guys on GJ. I wouldn't really call it valid at current level. I don't think there is an entry at current level, because you got to think, where would you determine to be the correct zone at the moment? You've got, I mean, these wicks is technically the zone we're approaching, and I mean, if you use that and trust 50% of that, then maybe go a little option. But for me, that's the height of the zone. But if it's not so definitive, I just will not take that potential option. You could also look to the line chart. Doesn't really help much though in this particular instance, and you could just, you know, look to the left and see how many times price has tapped into that level. Yeah, but for me, it will not be valid at this particular 4-hour resistance. Let's have a look at gold. The 15 is about to close. And even if I was considering counter trend entries, it will not be valid. It needs to close below that point. Pretty much needs to close at its lowest point, in my personal opinion. So now it's just a bit of a nothing candle. It's grabbed liquidity, but it's pulled all the way back to pretty much its open and closed basically at its open. So it just makes it more tricky. What this does is create more data within the current range, which makes it very tricky to trade. So therefore, what that would normally require me doing is wait for it to create some clean moves to cut through that wick, pull back and form support, clean pullback, and then I'm interested in trading a immediate zone. The other thing you could potentially look for is the 30-minute to close. If you close below support, then that's a stronger confirmation. If you were considering the sell option, which I'm not. Tamdari SD rel. I know I'll butcher that, but anyway, USD CAD. Do I see longs money? Quickly analyze it. Weekly is bearish. Daily structure is just bullish, just hanging on, but current candle's got no upward, so that's a good thing if you're looking for the buys. 4 hour at strong support, but it's actually closed below it, and you've got a little bit. Okay, so they could still come down a bit further looking at based on that. The structure is also technically bearish. So this rate in this stage, I would probably be more inclined to look for sells if it were me trading it. But seeing it's at a strong level, it's trying to remain above it, might be difficult selling it into support if there isn't the margin. So all right, how would I see longs winning? Well, you could potentially be getting some resistance confirmed here in a 30-minute in the next 12 to 13 minutes. Now, USD CAD and the old pairs, I would trade based on the 30. Make of that what you will, it's up to you guys, but I prefer the slightly higher time frame confirmation than the 15. Would avoid the 5 personally. If you do now confirm that minor resistance in 12.5 minutes, only for the following 30-minute candle to close above, like so, that would be, in my opinion, a strong enough catalyst. Let's see on the 4 hour. Will that confirm some support in the 4 hour? Now we still got a couple hours away for that, but if I receive that signal in price action on the pair I trade, I would consider it the entry. Otherwise, what I would patiently be doing is just waiting for price to pull back. Got the level here at 140 to 850. Like to see how price reacts to it for options to sell it, or from higher up, look for the options to sell upon rejection. Now, is there going to be further sell options below? Oops. Let's take a look at it. So let's just mark in with a horizontal. Current daily low. Let's zoom out. Yep. Plenty of clean traffic. Looking good. Yeah, so further options would be upon continuation below the low. It makes perfect sense. You've got bias, you got structure on your side, you got the strong weekly candle. Bearish, you got daily candle, has a low high, low low to the previous, so you got that on your side as well. So yeah, so the sells below current daily candles low would also, in my opinion, be valid. So that's my thoughts on it. And yeah, make of that what you will. GJ popping up. Again, I can't buy it at the current level. For me, buying it into a 4 hour resistance makes no sense. Oh yeah, it is always good to know, and that's it. Everyone has a different opinion of what they're seeing, but the thing is, we can all be profitable. That's the main thing. There is no right or wrong, it's just what works for you. You're seeing it on a 5 minute. Let me quickly look at the 5, and if that's the time frame that works for you, by all means as well. Yeah, the 5 minute looks pretty good. Yep, you've broken out consolidation, you've created that high, create a higher low potentially. You confirm the higher high, then yeah, the 5 minute looks really good, and you can add that as added confluence to any potential entry. Maybe try to correlate it with maybe if if this closed bearish followed by a 30-minute bullish candle above at the same time, or a 15-minute. Yeah, so I think it does look pretty good. Your analysis looks good. Crispy Honeybee here in gold buy from 29.02. Do you reckon it's going to break the high again? I mean, technically I think it's still good to continue bullish. What I believe happened, I mean, it could do anything. That's the nature of trading. No one can predict the future. All we can do is follow our plan, follow our analysis, and stick to our rules. But if you ask me, I think it's still very bullish. JJ continually now. It's just where do you buy it right now? I really can't see a clean area to get involved in a buy. As bullish as it might be at the moment. Elton, can I check US 30? The dirty 30? Alright. So weekly is forming a bullish candle. The thing I don't like about these indices is I mean, you get these big gaps. So it makes it a little bit tricky, personally, for me to chart. So it is forming a bullish candle. Daily, structurally it's bullish. That's the lowest point the market got to, have closed above the swing points, where we consider that to be the swing point, on this one a little bit higher up. So daily is bullish in structure. You got the previous candle closing weak bearish with a long wick down to support. If it was to begin to break the high, I think there's a good chance it could continue. We've got that wick to the left though. Very little volume. Personally, would not consider trading US 30 or NAS or anything like that this time of day. 4 hour is, and that gap again, this is why I don't like trading these pairs and trying. Either way, it's bearish. Based off that, that's the highest point the market got to. That's swing point. We've closed below it. That's the low. That's the high. As long as you remain within those two levels, we're technically bearish. You've also got counter probabilities to the downside. Not yet confirmed resistance here, so we'll wait for the 30. You've got resistance at these highs, support at these lows. It's bearish 4 hour, weekly is bullish, the daily was bullish, and the 30-minute appears to be bearish. So it's a mixed bag. So I've got a neutral bias here on US 30s, which means I'd happily trade in either direction as long as I got the right confirmation to do so. So I'd be marking this resistance. What I'd be looking for at the moment, first of all, for a nice clean buy, like a validation anyway, doesn't always mean it's a easy entry. There is no such thing. But for me, a nice clean option would be above current daily candles high, above the resistance form that level, look for continuation. 15-minute, in my opinion, would suffice, especially come closer to MY. As far as further options, just broken one support, we're now approaching another minus support, which lines up that resistance. So for me, I probably want to see price triggering some buyers and then wipe those buys out. Otherwise, I'm looking at it as if I've missed the majority of the move. Yes, it could continue down, but if I didn't trust it from up here, kind of feel like it's FOMO. Why would I be bothered getting in so late after it's already moved quite significantly, especially as a scalper? If you're a swing trader, it's a different story, or maybe an intraday trader. But as a scalper, for me, I need to let it reset. So what I mean by that, it forms a bit of support, maybe even consolidates, then begins to pop below. Even if you can correlate for 4 hour closing bearish and the new candle breaking the low of the previous, that's when I would start to consider the sell options from a little bit lower down. Now I'd also consider buys if we once again begin to consolidate just at this point here and start to close above the consolidation. I'd also consider buying it from the current level, seeing we are neutral in our bias at the moment on US30. And that being said, trade the range. If it pops up to resistance, it's only to reject it again. Again, I'd be looking for my price action signals for a sell from flat 44,450 region. So that is my personal take on US30. Can't even remember the last time I traded US30. It's been a very, very long time. Harry, so I'm on the 15-minute chart at the moment. 15 and 30, the primary focus on gold. GJ more than 30, but I do also look at the 15. Look at that rejection of the 4 hour resistance so far. So I think my members will know what I'm talking about. Why do I stay away from US30? I just, less is more. I don't need to trade it. I'm not often on the charts during its more during its time of volume when it's traded most, that is the New York session. So I choose not to trade it. I prefer to stick to gold. It normally gives me an option or two. GJ as well. I've looked at NAS during MY, pre-MY, on the odd occasion that I am on. Thank you guys for all the new followers, TikTok, appreciate it. Yeah, so not a great deal happening at the moment. We've got session open upon us in just under 2 minutes. And we're pretty much where we started the stream on gold, right where we started. Alright, session open is less than a minute away. Let's see if the news event from the pound is filtered through more during the open. All right, now session open. I was looking for a bell sound effect. I was hoping TikTok had one, but I can't quite see one. Sean, all good, mate. Not a problem. Thank you for joining as per usual. Appreciate you. Have a good day. All right, so London doors are open, guys. BJ is so far rejecting. Let's quickly look at GU and all right. Yeah, nothing there personally. EU looking pretty good for perhaps counter-trend sells at the moment at resistance. A tough one though, because it's just consolidating, so these have tricky entries. Really tricky entries because there's nothing yet. It's just free to pull out of this consolidation, and what may happen is it could tag you in and pull straight back up. I thought the move was bullish, so as decent as it looks right now, and you're looking at a pretty good area to get involved, maybe more of a longer term entry, perhaps it could be worthwhile. I mean, wider stop loss, wider target. Yeah, just not really giving me strong enough reason to look for any sell. After all, it is definitely bullish in a 30-minute. The weekly is a very strong bullish candle. Daily is no lower wick, so that's good in regards to any sells. That still a good chance it could pull back to carry one. Doesn't have to, but there's a good chance it could. That a level of resistance structurally has it flipped. Actually has, it's bullish. 4 hour I'd argue is bearish. Yeah, I'd argue it's definitely bearish. It's at resistance, so yeah, it's a bit of a tough one. Sells kind of look good, but yeah, I also think buys could be a good option. Narrows it down, doesn't it? Anyway. Alrighty, TikTok. I'm gonna get going on TikTok because I don't want to have a problem. Pushed my luck already quite far. Thank you for joining TikTok. I should be on live tomorrow. You guys should know where to find me otherwise. So take care, TikTok. Appreciate you guys for joining. Appreciate all the new followers. YouTube, I'll hang around for a little bit longer. TikTok, cheers guys. Catch you likely tomorrow. All right, YouTube, just us. Draco, good morning to you, brother. Hope you're well. You doing well? Yeah, gold a little bit tricky at the moment. Got within a pip and a half of that first CP, but is what it is. Close, but no cigar. Break even on the early gold entry. Tell you what, guys, Melbourne is absolutely stunning. Just a pity it's so freaking expensive. I'm talking about the actual city area. I'm within a stone's throw personally, just in a inner southeastern suburb. But the city itself, no, wow. So those who follow me on IG would have seen some of the fun and games. It's well behaved.
How far away from the centre of Melbourne do you live, Justin?
15-minute drive. Depending on traffic. 15 minutes that could take, sometimes 40 minutes, 45, but not far at all. You, Albert Park is where the Grand Prix is. I'm literally just on the other side of Albert Park from the city. And that's, again, that's just a stone throw from the actual city centre.
Very nice. You'll be.
To the Grand Prix, I used to actually work in the major events company that used to put up the mark, or yeah, so more service the marquees, corporate clients and that. So I used to work in food distribution for that company. So I've been to many of them, and to be honest, it gets annoying because you just want to get out there. Done overnight shifts there as well. That was, again, this is all about 20 years ago now. It was alright. It was a bit of fun. I did see some of the event from time to time. Drove on the track today on the way back from the apartment. It's all setting up again. The event's only a month away, I think.
Yeah, it's the first one I get this year.
Is it? Oh, okay.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, it hasn't been for the last few years, I don't think.
No.
You're a fan, are you?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I watch most weekends.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not,
I really want
to be honest.
to sell GJ, but I can't work away in.
Based on the level, but I mean, what I was saying before, I mean, look at how strong the rejection is of these levels, and that's why I came up with that limit order. I mean, it's not rocket science, it's pretty, easy one to follow. But the amount of times I see it react to these levels, sometimes it's going to react right at the zone itself, which is pretty much done on this occasion. But just from what I saw, a lot of time will pull quite significantly into it, and what I found was the 50% was generally there where it rejects and gives you a best option. But in this case, I'm just a little bit, it's as to what the right area zone. Sorry, just hearing my mum speaking background. I was a little bit not too sure what level really to target as 50%, whether you use the whole area here or just these wicks to the left. So when I'm in doubt, I just don't bother with it. Just give us a sec, guys. I'll be back in 2 seconds.
Hello, Matt. I'm sorry.
This is cooking up a storm. Okay, yeah, all good, mate, all good. See, JJ, I mean, the 30, what I was going to say is if this M15 close strong bearish followed by a weak pause on the next 15, and we're below this resistance, that would be really nice, but then when you look at the 15, you're approaching a support just now on 15. Is there margin below that point? Still is. So what would make me probably happier, and what are the chances of it happening though, is if this was to happen. like that on this M30. Better two 15-minute candles, because then we're at least below the bodies of the candles here to the left, below the minor support that would have been created. We've got some margin to the downside. So that is ideally what I'd like to see happen, but again, it's all well and good to have that plan, but it's just a matter of waiting to see if it does present, and sometimes it will. As far-fetched as it might seem, sometimes it does. And the other option is just simply wait for a closure below. If this candle closed as is and the next 15 minutes closed below it, then you're still got a valid entry, because you'll have 30-minute bearish engulfing, which is a big tick, always a big tick. So I mean, based off that, that's, yeah, it's also a pretty solid entry actually. You might stick around for that, just see something eventuates. But there's every chance that if it begins to pop below, that it could move significantly into below the support towards the next support, eating into our margin, and that would be another issue. Looking about these days for a schooner in Melbourne City, about 18 Australian dollars. Wow. I remember last time I was in the city, a schooner would have cost me about probably less than half of that, $8. And there's no point getting a pot when it's much less, you get much less in it, and it's only a couple dollars cheaper. I mean, even bottled beer was, you're still looking at a small, you know, what are they, 350 ml or whatever. But the average local beer, it's around $13 for a bottle, a small bottle. It's quite expensive. That's what, about 6 pounds? 6.5 pounds, 7 pounds. Not sure what you guys pay, but
yeah, it depends where. London, most places are the same price.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, for dinner for two, and I mean, if you're enjoying it a little bit, having like sharing one entree and then two mains and, you know, a couple of beers or something, you won't get it for under a couple $100 these days in Melbourne. Be hard pressed. It's South Bank anyway, which is like a really nice area. It's where the casino is and that. So you're around 100+ pounds. It was pretty good though. Gold rejecting. Yeah, I still don't trust the sells personally. Plus stop loss is going to be massive. If you use a proper technical stop loss, I don't feel it's worth taking into account trend entry. The only, if you are considering it, what I'd suggest is wait for new accounts, create decent up, we can maybe use that as your stop loss. But I'm not bothered. Not looking to sell it. When something is in a massive, strong uptrend or downtrend for that matter, I'd rather just be patient and trade it in line with the actual overall trend. And I don't feel gold's necessarily rejecting much, to be honest. I mean, you could argue it's at the 4-hour resistance, it's at the high time frame resistance, but been such a strong uptrend, it's the first rejection of it. So when I would be more interested in perhaps trading from this resistance is if we retest it again and same thing, then I'd look at it thinking, well, maybe it's going to hold for the time being. This is the first retest of that level, so I find it difficult to trust it when it's been in screaming uptrend, and the current weekly candle is forming very strong bullish. Should be on tomorrow, guys. I'm pretty sure I'm be on tomorrow. All right, so first option I was seeking won't be ticked off on the 15, so the next one will be the 30-minute golfing. Yeah, it's just very simple now. That's what I've been waiting for, to consider any option on GJ. So what the toughest part was figuring out the car park at the apartment. It was like a video game. You're at the first part, you've passed that level, you're on to the next. Swear to God, we're driving around the car park aimlessly for about 10-15 minutes. We're trying to figure out where we're supposed to go. Had to get to level 8 somehow. Got into the thing alright, but then couldn't work out how to get up to the levels. It was secret hidden roller door. Yeah, that's it. Bitcoin is still below 100. Seems to be in around that 95, 96 level for a bit of a while now. Yeah, look at that. Really strong consolidation between 100k and 95. Ethereum also consolidating. The gold is pulling back up, seen in my MetaTrader. That's always the concern when you're trying to take counter trend entries in something is really in a big uptrend, in this case, or a downtrend. You're trying to buy it. Good chance it could just pull up and create that high low and shift back bullish, and that's kind of what it looks like it could be doing just now. It's always very risky. And it comes with experience. A lot of members that will know not to try and ace the sellers here at the moment. Just patiently wait. At least GJ is at a level where it makes sense to sell. It's a very strong flower level. Checked it, you know, multiple times now. So this is level, which just requires a bit of a catalyst.
Your initial idea of the 15-minute engulfing looks like it's happening on GU, but just at the wrong level.
Here. Yeah. Thing is, yeah, you still gotta pop below. Yeah, the 30-minute. It's bouncing off at the moment. It's not dropped a little bit. Not really moving, is it, GJ? It's just stuck where it's been at for the last 10 minutes, basically. Six and a half minutes, and let's see, get that catalyst. Could be an option. If not, then likely not. Trying. See? Oh, it's a bit of volume kicking in right now. Alright, so that means not gonna be in the margin. It's making a move just now. And those levels, how often will we see him reject our levels, the fire levels, the higher time frame? That's why I was not interested in buying it into it. That's it. That's completely into the margin, so to be no entry for me personally. Do not have the margin below not even 10 pips once you have spread. GU also moving now. Yes, GU could present in the next 5 minutes. Those who are interested in GU, but yeah, for me GJ that's it. Not trusting an impulse below that candle's low. I don't think it made sense, so not taking it. It's got an upward in the 15, and now I don't have the margin. So to move on then, to conclude what I'd be looking for on GJ's, whoops, all comes down to the 192 360 level. If we manage to remain above it, form some support above it, seeing we've made a clean move up, clean move down. As long as you got the right enough margin to do so, I'd look to buy it. And if it starts to pop below, close below, then I'd be looking for the sells down towards 192.10 and 192 flat. Even if it closes below in this current candle, I wouldn't take it. It's just made too big a move. Need to let it reset again, wait for a bit of a pause below that point of 15 maybe. So that's GJ. Gold, be careful trading it, really careful. PPI, sorry, to come. Plus it's in a massive uptrend. I'd rather buy it at this stage from a pullback, upon a pullback, otherwise still above the high on continuation, but it all depends, you know, on the time of day with the news about. And yeah, I think that's about it, guys. Appreciate you all for joining. Members, I won't be on FanWire again Fridays. I'm just up way too early, but I'll more than likely be on tomorrow. Should be all good for that. And yeah, you guys know where to find me if you want to know more about anything. Appreciate the support as always, guys. Make sure to hit like button on the way out if you've not yet done so, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Team, enjoy, have a good one. Bye guys.
See you, Shane.
See you, mate.
Thank you.